Hello, I'm going to present my vlog for Standard 9, Operations and Management. Effective educational leaders manage school operations and resources to promote each student's academic success and well-being. So guiding question number 1 says, how does an effective leader strategically manage staff resources, assigning and scheduling teachers and staff to roles and responsibilities that optimize their professional capacity to address each student's learning needs? Well, I do this by this year creating a calendar for mentor meetings, leaders, PLCs. All of these meetings together show that there's some sort of a schedule for staff. This calendar shows different meetings that Roosevelt has for mentor leadership, teachers, PLCs, etc. Also, for the PLC, I work with the PLC team every week. This common planning time is a mandate of Roosevelt High School. And during this time, teachers in the 9th and 10th grade collaborate with each other. This entails calling parents, having kid talk in which students with issues can be rectified. Those problems can be rectified. There are teachers, sociologists, psychologists, counselors. We all come together during the PLC to talk about what problems students may be facing. Here's a comprehensive school plan. This is my school's comprehensive plan. And in here talks about all of the things that they want to focus on. Shared leadership. We talk about teachers' surveys, the panoramic survey. We talk about action plans that we'll do for each month, some hybrid delivery, progress and monitoring. So insight surveys, we get information from. We want to talk about the action plans to develop a clear and concise family and community mission and vision statements. Increase feeder school enrollment, strengthen community partners. So these are all the things that the school wants to work on. Here we have culture and achievement, supporting social and emotional and academic needs of students, mentorship program. So it's a huge list, right? And that's what our school improvement plan talks about. Here are some staff duties that I created. And for the staff duties, you can see there's the duties for the gym, for lunch, planning, for each teacher. Also, creating a human resources allocation plan. So Roosevelt High School's duties are basically to stand at their doors and to welcome students. The duties of the SRO officer, the school resource officers, and APs and counselors, those are the people who mainly do the duties, not the teachers. For guiding question 2, how does an effective leader seek, acquire, and manage physical and other resources to support curriculum instruction and assessment, student learning community, professional capacity of community and family, and community engagement? So here I created a mock budget presentation for Roosevelt High School. And here I talk about I talk about the school comprehensive plan and the things that we want to work on for the school comprehensive plan. I focused on the budget cuts and budget lines that I would like to add. For instance, urban teachers is one of them. I wanted to create, give an opportunity for more teachers to attend Roosevelt, to work there. Also, I wanted to focus on family engagement, school safety, twilight, etc. I also have 3 items here. And so our principal did budget meetings on the overall budget. So all stakeholders were able to attend, and I was able to be part of that meeting. He gets recommendations as to how to allocate funds. Here is the International Academy budget meeting that I attended. Questions were asked: in what capacity should that money be spent? And I recommended a dean to that can relate to the international students. And a dean was hired this year. Also, there was a problem with security. So there was a separate budget for security, securing the building and hiring security guards. And we replaced security officers in the lower floor to in exchange for having some more teacher support. So this was huge for us, those 3 budgets: the international budget, the budget for security, and the overall budget. So here I created the different types of budgets. And here I talked about the operating budget, and that is for non-personnel spending, for custodian supplies and staff and student technology, etc., office supplies. There's also at Roosevelt our restrictive budget, monies that you cannot touch. So you cannot touch from the JROTC staffing. You cannot touch from family engagement funds, but you can touch discretionary funds from administration premium overtime. So I said that at Roosevelt, I participated in making decisions by voting and filling out surveys as to what my thoughts were towards spending certain spendings in certain budgets. Guiding question 3, how does an effective leader employ technology to improve the quality of efficiency of operations and management? As a geometry leader, teacher lead, I am responsible for keeping the only computer cart for the geometry team in my room. I'm responsible for the count of the computers and administering those computers during summative assessments. I also interview stakeholders in my coursework, and questions were asked about what devices was student currently using, what is the administration's vision for learning and hopes for the future. Asked questions about does the school have proper technology infrastructure in place to support these the equipment? Have the budget? Have you budgeted for professional development and for the future, etc.? So those are some of the questions I asked in my survey. I also created a technology plan based on what Roosevelt had. And in this technology plan, I talked about the mission and vision of the department, the Octo department. The mission is to direct the strategy deploy and management of the DC government technology with an unwavering commitment of IT excellence. So they are focusing on excellence, efficiency, and the values of teachers, students, and staff. Roosevelt Technology Plan. Well, the person that's in charge is the Director of Strategics and Logistics. And because of all the work I put into technology, they eventually saw that this individual could not do all this work by herself. And so they eventually hired an assistant for her. So that was good. That was one of the things that came about based on my work with technology. The goals for Roosevelt High School, community thinks that it is important that technology makes it easier for students. Of course, when we brought students back this year, students talked about how they like the technology and they would like to see all of their work given on the technology. It's easier for them to organize their thoughts and their work, and they don't have to use books or papers. The next one is, that was the plan. Okay, guiding question 4. How does an effective leader plan and manage the school's budget to ensure optimum and equitable use of financial resources? Here, I talked about the different types of budgets. So we talked about the discretionary, the restrictive, and the operating budget. I also created a budget cut of 5%, and I cut items like teachers' resources, because during COVID, no one used paper and other supplies as such, so that was cut. I also talked about cutting office supplies, and I also talked about cutting one of the programs for additional services. So supplies, it's right here, so let me read it because I can't remember exactly what I cut. So I cut also teacher overtime for credit recovery, because those students can come back into the school and place with their teachers to do that extra work. So I also cut that. There is something else that I cut that I don't see here, but it's yes, overtime for a custodian, because I realized that if the building is kept clean, that they would not need that extra overtime. And the reason why I did that was because a couple of people from another school, some custodians, said that they lost all of their overtime. And so I'm like, well, that makes sense. So that's something that if the school is in, dire need, that they can cut from that budget. Going back, let's talk about, I also created justifications as to why I cut, and I spoke about that. So it's the same justifications, but in writing, and that's here. I even talk about reasons for not cutting certain things, items. And the 2 others, the human resources allocation plan. So I created an allocation plan. Okay, so if there are 820 students at Roosevelt, So there are 267 ninth graders. That's the greatest number. The ninth graders are the greatest amount, has the greatest amount of students. So you want to be equitable in that case. You want to make sure that, you know, more money goes towards that group for the things that they need. Okay. I separated between the non-personnel and the capital expense. And I created a budget for Office Depot, some of the things that we would order for our classrooms, like for the math, the rulers, the pencils, erasers, etc. And last but not least, I did a budget presentation. And that's a mock budget presentation. And the mock budget presentation.
Hello, my name is Stacy Carr.
Talks about, again, my budget and creating, hiring the 7 urban teachers, a psychologist, a teacher lead for math, because I was a teacher lead for math informally, and I suggested them hiring one, and they did not only just hire a teacher lead for one teacher lead, but 2. So I'm happy about that they were able to do that. And that is my evidence for the standard. Thank you.